Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming and joining into our presentation of how to create a well integrated community through volunteering. And we're Southington High School. So, yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gabe LeBlanc, and I am a junior at Southington High School. This is my third year with Key Club, and I'm very excited to continue with my role as club president over the next year. And to give you an idea about myself, I am currently considering a career in engineering, but I'm also very passionate about making a difference in my community.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tia Guay, and I'm the vice president at Southington High School. I really love volunteering, it's a huge part of my life. I really love gymnastics, and I hope to be a lawyer one day. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna start off by giving a main presentation with 5 different talking points about why integration is important. We're gonna give some examples that Southington High School uses. We're gonna give you guys some suggested organizations. We're gonna tell you how to reach out to organizations and then some ideas for potential events. So, and then we're gonna end with some discussion and questions, which you can submit your questions in the chat and then we'll read them at the end.
So during tonight's presentation, we'll talk a lot about keeping members engaged, both in your club and in your community, which is so important because with over 270,000 active Key Club members currently, maintaining the dedication of so many people really helps maximize the impact that your Key Club can have. So, like I mentioned, running a successful Key Club really boils down to maintaining member engagement, which is essentially a measure of how involved and committed members are to their Key Club. And so in order to keep members most engaged, one of the best things that you can focus on is club and community integration, which is when you form meaningful relationships with community organizations, businesses to help broaden your service opportunities. So essentially, when you integrate your club with or within the community, your members are more likely to become engaged as they'll have activities that they want to participate in more. And at the same time, when they do so, they'll want to stay with your club in order to participate in those activities, which helps boost member retention and thus at the same time increases your club's service hour potential. And therefore, it's important to note that integration is more about forming meaningful, sustained relationships as opposed to partnering with an organization maybe once or twice a year for an event, because that'll help bring more diverse opportunities to your or your event offerings, which again motivates members to be more engaged in their club and in the community. So integration with community organizations has a ton of benefits, both for new clubs and for existing clubs. And for new clubs, it is often difficult to get off on a good start. So integrating with other organizations is great for establishing a strong presence in your community, as well as attracting members to join a club, which can be pretty difficult, especially in a school environment, by enticing them with some exciting service projects. And then for existing clubs, it's always a good thing to broaden your volunteer opportunities so that there's more options for your members to choose from. And at the same time, provide some consistent service projects that your members can look forward to year after year. And it'll at the same time make them want to come back and stay with your club throughout the year and be more engaged at the same time. So in summary, integration is essential to the success of a club because you help retain active members and provide them with a wide variety of service projects while at the same time helping your own club by increasing Key Club's presence in your community. And by forming that network of meaningful relationships, you're setting the foundation for your club to grow and flourish early on, and at the same time for your members to take on as much responsibility and involvement as possible. So to give you or to help you visualize the process of integration as best as possible, as well as demonstrate some of its positive impacts, we'd like to introduce you to our own town of Southington, and in particular, our personal Key Club. So to give you an idea as far as what our school is like, we're a school of about 2,000 students, so it's pretty large, and we're able to get about 100 Key Club members a year, which is great. And that also means that we're always looking for new service projects to keep those club members engaged. And we typically average about 200 service hours a month, but we're constantly trying to improve upon that. As far as our club, we really design it to keep members engaged in the simplest way possible. We meet weekly and we average about 10 events a month, which we found it's pretty sufficient based on how many signups we get per month. And then otherwise, everything like signups is online for easy access. And we maintain strong communication systems through programs like Remind and Google Classroom that make sure that there's no disconnect between members. And as far as SHS goes, we tend to really have a struggle post the summer when kids return from holiday break. We lose a ton of members in January, which is always a concern of ours. And at the same time, we have many members who consistently ask us for more volunteer opportunities. So the perfect way to combat both of those problems is to integrate our own club within other community organizations. And so the following are a few of the organizations we've been able to integrate ourselves in. One of them is STEPS, commonly known as Southington's townwide effort to promote success. And this is primarily a youth prevention group that focuses on things like substance abuse prevention and positive youth development. And they maintain a strong presence in our schools and town government. They tend to advocate for meaningful legislation, as well as run campaigns throughout the community. And so we're really thankful to be able to partner with them on several major events. For example, they run 8th grade transition days for when kids come up to the high school. And so our Key Club members love giving tours to those incoming freshmen, which is a great way to work with children and gain some interpersonal experience. And that's always something to look forward to at the end of the year. And then also, STEPS typically partners with the Southington Drug Task Force in order to put on an annual Red Ribbon Drug-Free Rally, which is a really unique and special event because it allows members to actually get up on stage and talk in front of the community about pledging to be drug-free. So that's a wonderful opportunity for kids to gain speaking experience and to further involve themselves in their community in a way that you don't see too often, which is awesome. Also, our town has something called an Apple Harvest Festival, which is something that happens every October. It's essentially a community gathering with a bunch of food, events, and there's even a carnival there. So it's a great way for people to get together. And as far as our Key Club, that means that there's plenty of ways for us to get involved. For example, we partner with our American Legion to serve meals during the festival. And then we also have members work in the beverage booths or selling carnival tickets during the festival. And again, that interpersonal experience, our members love and really find that it's so valuable. We've also in previous years marched in the parade, which is really awesome. And our members have loved that. And this festival has helped us meet some of our project requirements with Kiwanis as we've sold goods like peanuts in the past. Of course, we have Southington Public Schools. So we have 8 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and of course our high school, which means that there's plenty of opportunity to involve ourselves with many of the younger kids. And we do that primarily through 2 major events a year. We host a Halloween party in October and a kiddie carnival in March for elementary schoolers. So it's a great way for elementary schoolers to have fun and for our Key Club members to work with kids and have fun themselves. At the same time, we are able to benefit a bunch of charities. We've done parties that benefit the Thirst Project or even local food banks. So the impact and the benefit of events like that is endless. And more consistently, we offer monthly babysitting at 4 of those elementary schools when they have their normal PTO and parent meetings. And that's usually one of our more popular events. We always have plenty of signups for that. And offering that sort of a consistent opportunity for kids to get involved has really allowed kids to consistently involve themselves in their community. And then lastly, Southington Community Services is our organization in town that helps provide aid to those in need. And so we partner with them on several events throughout the year. For example, in December, we participate in the Salvation Army bell ringing that also benefits community services at local grocery stores. And we've been doing that for years, and we still have members coming back year after year for that. And it's just a really fun event as a whole. Also, we month after month collect mac and cheese. We have a whole shelf for it, and we've been doing this for over a decade. And this is a really easy way for our club members to get hours, especially when they're looking to fulfill like that last hour of their requirement. And it's also a great way to stock your local food pantry. And other than that, some other easy ways for members to get hours as well as diversify how they can help out in the community are things through like towel drives with veterinarians and clothing drives for community members.
So next we're going to be talking about how can you work to integrate your own club. So these are some potential organizations that you can try to get involved with. So first is definitely try to get involved in local schools, food pantries, youth prevention organizations. So this would be something like a drug task force or a group that speaks out against substance abuse. Libraries or local shops, Bread for Life, the drug task force, and then your other school clubs. So first I'm going to talk about local schools. So some of the benefits of working with local schools and getting involved with local schools is that you can educate the students. So if the students become more aware of what Key Club is and what kind of events they do, they'll be more determined to join that club in future years. Also, if you can educate the teachers, they might feel more inclined to join some of the events in the future or educate their students on what Key Club does and convince them to join. You can also give ideas on how they can help. A lot of younger underclassmen or elementary schoolers are looking for ways that they can help out in their community. So this would be a great way for you to voice what Key Club does and give them ways that they can help. You can also, it just overall spreads awareness of what Key Club is and what we do and overall our positive message. And of course, you could start a K-Kids or Builders Club and work with them to try to create a system where you guys all where they all work together. Next, I'm going to be talking about food pantries. So some of the benefits of working with food pantries is that they'll give you more recognition. Most of the time, everyone knows kind of where their food pantry is located, and they know that the positive message that surrounds it. So you can have more recognition by just doing that. And also it has the ability to create more ideas for fundraisers. So as Gabe mentioned earlier, the Southington High School Key Club has a mac and cheese shelf where you can get 4 boxes of mac and cheese. You can get 1 hour. So by affiliating yourself and getting involved with these food pantries, you will allow for more fundraisers to be created and easier food drives to happen. And also you have an affiliation with a local organization, which is always good. And a lot of people love when you support those types of organizations. So next is the youth prevention organizations. So if you work with these organizations, a youth prevention organization is basically a group of students, so younger kids, and they work to prevent, substance abuse and they promote people making positive decisions. And so we have one of those, like STEPS, for example, in our town would be a youth prevention organization. So if you work with these types of groups, people will recognize the values of Key Club. They'll know that you want to spread a positive message. So you'll overall just spread more awareness of what Key Club stands for and what our morals and values are. If you associate Key Club with positive organizations, then you find it easier to partner with them for different events, and they might partner with you for other events. So it goes both ways. So next is the libraries and local shops. So some of the benefits of doing this is that, supporting local shops is always a good idea, especially during this time. It's hard for these local shops to thrive and these libraries to thrive. So if you support them, at any time, but now especially, it would a lot of people would really like that, and it's a really good idea. Key Club recognition at events. So if you stand outside of a local shop, and then those people will maybe recognize you from standing outside at a different event, and overall just gets Key Club's name out there. You could also, if you affiliate yourself with them and integrate yourselves into their program, then you can hold fundraisers at their shop. So this could be so much as a restaurant proceeds night. You could stand outside of their shop and collect money, like a shake a can or a ring a bell, or you can maybe have them sponsor an event or something like that. So that's a benefit from that. And then you can also, they might donate money to your Key Club. So that might be a sponsorship, or they might donate a gift card for a raffle or some of their items for a raffle as well, or they just might give you money to help start an event. So you also, by partnering with local shops, you can spread positive messages, especially with libraries. If you do a book drive, it just overall spreads a positive message and gets that out there. So you could do specific organizations, for example, Bread for Life. It's pretty popular. So you can support, again, like on the previous slide, supporting local organizations, that's a plus. And if people might recognize organizations like Bread for Life, and they want to get involved in Key Club as a result of the connection. They could have always been wanting to get involved in Bread for Life, but never gotten the opportunity. And then Key Club, if they see that they're involved in something like this, they might join Key Club as a result. And then current Bread for Life student volunteers may consider joining Key Club. If they're already volunteering at Bread for Life, they might just want to join Key Club because they know that's something that they do, and it's just something that makes them more well-rounded. As well as they serve lunches and dinners throughout the day, so it serves a wide range of different ages. So this is beneficial for people who maybe like to work with a bunch of different age groups. Lastly, I want to touch on school clubs and the importance of integrating with them. So DECA and FBLA, those are just some examples of clubs in your school, although I'm sure there are many others, but these are just some major ones. Some of the benefits of getting involved with your club is it encourages new members to join. You can talk to different clubs, and when you're involved, it might encourage new members to join because they might really like, what you are talking about. And if you educate them about Key Club while you're there, that might spark more people to join. And overall, it publicizes the name of Key Club. If you're involved with DECA, for example, and you're doing an event, people might not have even known about Key Club, might join as a result of the event. And overall, just spreads awareness of what Key Club's values are and how they can get involved. So approaching an organization, so there's 4 simple steps. So you have background research, then you got to decide how you want to get involved. Then you have to draft an email or letter to the organization, and then you send out a final copy. So step 1, background research. So you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. So I want to first say that you have to get approval from your advisor before doing anything. You want to make sure that they get their proper approval from admin or any paperwork that needs to be filled out ahead of time. So that's just a little disclaimer to make sure that you do that. But you have to ask yourself for background research, what type of organization do you want your Key Club to be involved in? Do you want it to be involved in a local organization? Do you want it to be involved in a business? Do you want it to be involved in a food pantry? You have to also take into account, where is it located? Is it in another state? Is it in another country? Is it within your town? You need to know where it's located. You need to know, does the organization offer any programs? So you need to know if maybe after this one event that people will have opportunities to volunteer in the future. And then you have to ask, how has the organization gotten involved in the community before? So have they been to another event that you have been in that you think people might know them from? So the step 2 is you have to decide how you want to get involved. So are you going to partner with that organization for a fundraiser? So are you going to do an event and you want to partner with them? Do you want them to sponsor you? So a potential sponsorship? Do you want them to just advertise Key Club within their own organization? That's something that is, not many people, really think about, but you can have an organization, advertise Key Club. And so you have to ask yourself, do you just want them to do that? Or do you just want to offer to give them knowledge about Key Club? Because that's something that everybody would want, obviously. So the third step is to draft your letter or email. So you have to ask, be direct and say, what is your proposal? You have to have something specific. You also have to think about how you're going to ask them. Do you want to mail them a letter? Do you want to send them an email? Or do you want to talk, in another way? Do you want to have a face-to-face? I know at this time with these circumstances, it's hard, but you could do a virtual sort of meeting as well. So who will help you write this? So you want to think, you probably want your advisor to help you. You probably want maybe some of the officers and some of the general club members to help you. And then how many people from your Key Club would get involved? So it's good to have that information, because if people want that information, so that if they want to do an event and they only need 2 to 3 people, but then you have 50 kids that want to do it, that wouldn't work. So you have to make sure you know how many kids would want to do it first. So lastly, you're going to send a final copy. So when will you send it? So timing is everything. You want to make sure that you're not just giving them a week to prepare for the event, that you're giving them enough time and that it's at an appropriate time. So who will look over your letter before you send it? You know, obviously, again, you want your advisor to look at it. You want your other club members to look at it. And you probably want maybe another faculty member to look at it to make sure that it sounds right. Also, what will you do while you wait for your response? So it's good always to be productive. So make sure you're having something that you could do. Is there another event that you could quickly do? Is there some way that you could start planning? Stuff like that. Also, have you received advisor approval? So again, this was something that you should probably do in the beginning. Just make sure that your advisor knows what you're doing before you do it. So the overall thoughts is you basically just want to explain the importance of Key Club and tell them ways that they can get involved in the future. And of course, be appreciative of anything they have to offer. So even if it's not what you initially wanted, anything that they have is generous enough. If they do not want to get involved, you know, it's really good to still say thank you for them for their consideration, because just taking time out of their busy schedules to read your letter or email is really helpful and really considerate. So make sure that you just thank them for that. And lastly, just let them know any future events of Key Club to see if they would be interested. And maybe when their schedule frees up, they might want to. So yeah.
Now, once you form those meaningful relationships, it's up to you to start planning successful events. And thinking about these specific examples from our town from earlier, those are just in our town. There are countless out there for you to get involved with, and really an infinite number of service projects that you can take part in. So to hopefully spark some of your own ideas, here are some categories that your events might fall under. You can really choose from any of these when you partner with an organization or even create your own. The possibilities are endless. So first, you have outreach. If there are particular groups in your town that are in need, for example, the school system is obviously a major one for that, it'd be great to host a fun or meaningful event that you know would impact their lives for the better. You also have the typical donation drives where partnering with an organization can have great benefit because you can reach a greater number of people. So you have better publicity and allow you to support a cause at a much greater scale. For tailored events, based on what the organization represents and what specific organizations that you have in your town, you can always design an event around them to have the greatest possible impact. So if you're thinking about an elementary school, offering voluntary tutoring would be perfect for something like that. And then finally, of course, fundraisers are always a great way to support both your Key Club and the organization. And when you partner together, again, you reach a greater number of people and you have greater fundraising potential, which can be a benefit to you both. So overall, it's really important that you find the things that are unique and special, not only about your Key Club, but about your community. If your community focuses on something specific or has really unique elements about it, like ours has festivals or prevention groups, it's really important that you latch onto those and start planning your events and reach out to those organizations based upon that. Overall, it's really essential that you just be creative and determine ways to get involved that your members will love and that will keep them coming back and that will have the greatest impact in your community as a whole.
So right now we're going to do a open discussion. So it's a little bit hard to do it on this platform, but we're going to try our best. So I'm just going to read the question and I'm just going to answer what my Key Club in Southington High School does. And if you guys want to share any of your answers to these questions, you could just enter them in the chat below. And then we'll just like read them off. So what strategies do you use to keep members of your Key Club engaged? So for Southington High School Key Club, the way that we keep our members engaged is that we create a bunch of different varieties of events so that a lot of people have their interests. Not everyone has the same interests, so we make sure that we have a variety of them. So we do babysittings for people who like to work with younger kids. We do a kitty carnival also for people who want to work with younger kids. We do a soup night there's always a lot of adults that come to that. So that's a good way to get involved with the adults. So it's just creating a bunch of different events, different types of events that different types of people will enjoy doing. And instead of just doing one specific event. So the next question is, after this workshop, how do you plan to integrate your own Key Club? So for Southington High School Key Club, we plan on reaching out to some other maybe local businesses or local organizations that we think we might want to partner with when we get back to school, hopefully this year, to create some new events that the rest of the town will get involved in. And then lastly, how do you intend to help retain your members throughout the year? So Southington High School Key Club help intends to do this by creating maybe 3 bigger events, one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one in the end of the school year, to ensure that we have enough people that are still active throughout all portions of the year. And then just creating a variety of different events, like I earlier stated, and weaving them in throughout the year so that people feel more excited to come to Key Club for those bigger events and those events that are more diversified.
So at this point, it doesn't seem like there's any responses in the chat yet, but you're still welcome to provide them. So right now we'll open up to any questions that you have. But if you think of something later or you just like more information, both of our email addresses are right there. So you can always feel free to send us an email later. So we'll refer to the Zoom chat right now. And that was a really good question about DECA and FBLA, because, and it doesn't just have to be them, because there are a ton of clubs, and I know that each school has unique clubs in particular. So partnering with any of them that your club, again, it's focusing on what your club and your school and your community has that's unique to it. So clubs like DECA and FBLA or anything beyond that are really excellent ways to start a kind of networking your club throughout the community. If there are any more questions, feel free to leave them. We do have a few prepared questions that we can go through right now. I don't know if you want to take the first one, Tia.
Okay, so what communication methods work best for keeping members engaged? So for Southington High School Key Club, we use Remind and we use Google Classroom. These are really efficient because if people forget something, they can or aren't aware of a specific time for an event, they can be texted with Remind. And then also Google Classroom is efficient because when you are, after a meeting, you might forget some of important dates or some important info, and that will all be posted on Google Classroom to be referred to later.
Then as far as what if I have difficulty finding organizations to partner with, which is a genuine concern because I know in certain towns it might be difficult, especially if you have, or if certain organizations are not willing to partner with groups like Key Club. So at that point, it'd be really up to your club to take more of a unique approach, which is certainly possible because there is a ton that you can still do in your community as a club itself. So it's really making the best of the situation without having those relationships. So for example, you can host your own events like our club does with our Halloween party, with our kiddie carnival that just works within the school system. There are certainly a bunch of online ideas. Sending cards to veterans is a really popular event that our club has that really doesn't rely on another organization. So my best advice would be to think about ways that you can still extend yourself without having to network with a specific organization itself.
How can Key Clubs best respond to the current global situation? So right now, I know it's hard to volunteer when you can't really go anywhere, but there are many ways that you could still volunteer online. I know there's some websites that do like online tutoring or something like that. You can help partner with some of those people, or you can start planning events for when we do get back so that you already have a set plan, as well as, a lot of places are looking for donations, writing cards to people who are sick or in need. That's completely free to write cards. So you could do that and just spread positive energy, not necessarily going somewhere and volunteering, but overall just spreading that positive message that Key Club represents.
And the same as that positive message goes, it's important that you maintain the same message within your own members. So using the communication methods previously discussed, just keep your members updated and spread your support of them. Just make sure that you maintain a positive environment with your own club, which will help keep them more committed to their club and want especially since these times are really so lonely, just to feel like they have a group that they can rely on, because Key Club is the perfect group for that in these trying times. There do not appear to be any more questions, but again, feel free to email us at our email address is here. Later on, we'd be happy to respond to any of you there. For the moment, we'll probably hang out for the next few minutes if you have any more questions, but otherwise, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Loved having you.